I couldn't believe it. Of all the people in the entire city, in the entire damn universe, it had to be him. Gideon. He leaned in the doorway like he owned the place, one hand casually stuffed in the pocket of his ripped jeans, the other gripping a can of energy drink. His dark hair was tousled in that effortlessly messy way that made you wonder if he actually tried to look that good. And that smirk, that same cocky smirk I remembered from the party where everything went sideways. He was the last person I wanted to see again, let alone live with. "You're my new roommate, huh?" he said, head tilted slightly, as if sizing me up. His gaze was steady and unbothered, like he hadn't ruined my life with a joke that had spiraled too far. He didn't look surprised. He looked amused, like the universe had handed him a gift wrapped in bad timing and cosmic irony. I gritted my teeth. "You gotta be kidding me." "Nope." He popped the cap of the drink and took a long sip, his throat working smoothly. "Looks like fate wanted us to bond." Fate? More like a cosmic joke. And I was the punchline. My hands curled into fists at my sides. Every instinct screamed at me to walk away, to find a new place, to not subject myself to living under the same roof as the guy who thought it was funny to humiliate me in front of half the college crowd. I could still hear the laughter echoing in my head, the sting of being the joke of the night, the shame burning through me as I stumbled out of that house party last fall. "You've got some nerve," I muttered, stepping past him into the apartment. It smelled like paint and cheap air freshener. A blank slate. Too bad it already felt contaminated. He followed, casual as ever, closing the door behind him with a soft click. "I'm actually surprised you remember me so well." I turned to face him. "Hard to forget the person who made you a walking meme for 2 weeks. Gideon chuckled, running a hand through his hair. "Hey, I didn't make you drink that much. That was all you. That smugness. That infuriating grin." I wanted to scream, or throw something, or maybe throw him. Instead, I dropped my bag on the floor and stared him down. He stared back, his expression unreadable now. The humor faded, just for a second. There was something else behind his eyes, something I didn't recognize. But it vanished before I could catch it. He stepped closer, the space between us narrowing dangerously. "Don't worry, Kaysen," he said softly. "You'll learn to live with me." I didn't answer. I couldn't. The tension in the room thickened until it was a living thing, breathing between us. I hated him. I had to hate him. But my heart was already betraying me. And I hated that more. The first night was hell. I tossed and turned on a mattress that might as well have been made of nails. Not because it was uncomfortable, though it was, but because I could hear him. Every breath, every footstep, every damn chord he strummed from the living room crept under my skin like poison. He was out there, sitting on that old couch like he owned the place, softly plucking his guitar strings like we weren't sharing air. Like he hadn't wrecked me publicly a year ago. Like his presence wasn't a constant, grating reminder of how far I'd come just to end up back in his orbit. I buried my face into the pillow, trying to block it all out. I'd made one rule for myself the minute I walked in that door. Ignore Gideon at all costs. But that rule didn't last the night. The music stopped. The floor creaked. Then 3 soft knocks. I didn't answer. He opened the door anyway. And there he was, shirt hanging loose off one shoulder, his guitar still in hand, the soft amber glow of the hallway light casting shadows on his face. He looked effortless, infuriatingly effortless. "Sorry," he said, though his tone didn't even try to match the word. "Thought you'd be fine with a little background music." I sat up, cold anger buzzing just beneath my skin. I wanted to snap, to throw his stupid guitar out the window. But when I met his eyes, those annoyingly unreadable hazel eyes, I hesitated. His smirk was there, but it was weaker this time, like he wasn't sure it would land. I stayed quiet. Silence was safer. My voice felt like it was wrapped in thorns anyway. He didn't seem fazed. Just walked in a little further, set his guitar gently by the wall, and then turned to me like he had something else to say. But he didn't speak. Instead, he looked at me. I mean, really looked. The kind of look that made you feel like maybe he wasn't mocking you. Like maybe he was seeing you for the first time. His gaze dropped for the briefest second to my mouth and then back up again. And that's when I felt it. That electric shift in the air. The pull I didn't want. The way my chest suddenly felt too tight. Was he going to kiss me? God help me. Part of me leaned in without even realizing. But then just like that, it was gone. He turned, cool as ever, and walked toward the door. I'll keep it down. He tossed over his shoulder, that smirk back in place like nothing happened. And I just sat there stunned. My rule, the one I promised myself, was already broken. Not by him, by me. Because in that second, I didn't hate him. I wanted him. And I didn't know which was worse. I don't know why he does it. Why he can't just exist like a normal person. Why everything he says has to feel like a dare, like he's constantly waiting to see if I'll finally break and throw a punch or kiss him. Every day it's something. He'll use my mug just because he knows it'll piss me off. He'll sing in the shower when he knows I'm trying to concentrate. Or worse, he'll walk around the apartment shirtless, humming some stupid indie song like his abs aren't distracting as hell. And I hate that it's working. I've never been this on edge in my life. It's like living with a fuse constantly lit, one wrong look away from exploding. And Gideon? He's the match. This morning, he brushed past me in the hallway, bare torso damp from the shower, towel slung low on his hips. I should have looked away. I tried to, but I didn't. I stared. I inhaled. That scent, clean soap, pine, and something uniquely him, clung to the air like a warning. Or maybe a promise. And now, tonight, he's doing it again. He's leaning against the kitchen counter like he owns the whole damn place. Arms crossed over his chest, watching me wrestle with a stubborn jar of pasta sauce like it's the most entertaining thing in the world. You know, he says, voice low and lazy, you're not the only one who's miserable in this apartment. I don't look up. Then maybe stop making it worse. He chuckles, slow and dangerous. I'm not complaining. That pulls my attention. I glance up and our eyes lock. His green gaze is calm on the surface, but something flickers behind it. Something sharp, or maybe soft. I can't tell anymore. You think this is fun for me? I snap, the lid finally popping open with a jarring twist. He shrugs. You don't look miserable when you're watching me in the hallway. I freeze. He steps forward just one pace, but it's enough to tighten the space between us. My breath shortens. You smell like vanilla, he murmurs. And every time you storm past me in a huff, I can still smell it 5 minutes later. I drop the jar onto the counter with a clunk. What do you want, Gideon? He doesn't answer right away. He just stares at me, too long, too hard, until I feel like I'm standing there without skin. Then, finally, his voice drops, almost a whisper. I want to know why you keep pretending you hate me when your hands say otherwise. My stomach twists. He smirks, the way he always does, like it's a game he's already won. But for once, I don't fire back. I don't storm off. Because the truth is, I don't know anymore if I hate him, or if I'm just terrified that I don't. It's impossible to ignore anymore. The tension, the weight of it settles between us like a thick fog, unspoken, undeniable. It follows us from room to room, coils in the silence, hums in the space between every look and almost touch. I try to pretend like nothing's changed, like he's just the annoying roommate I've always hated. But hate doesn't make your chest tighten when someone's laugh carries through the wall. Hate doesn't make you memorize the rhythm of his footsteps. Hate doesn't make your breath catch just because he's in the same damn room. The other night, I was standing in the living room, mindlessly scrolling through my phone, trying to focus on anything but him. I heard his footsteps before I saw him. And like always, my pulse jumped, annoying, traitorous thing. Then he came into view, shirtless again, as usual, like modesty was beneath him. His hair was still damp from a shower, messy in a way that looked like he'd spent hours perfecting it. And those eyes, so sharp, so unblinking, landed on me with intent. He didn't say anything at first. He didn't need to. The air shifted. I could feel it on my skin, thick and hot, like something was about to snap. He took one step toward me. Just one. But it felt like the entire world shifted closer. My body stiffened, but I didn't move. I couldn't. His gaze held me there. Then he did it. He reached out. His hand landed on my shoulder, not gently, not roughly, but firmly. His fingers dug in just enough to send a jolt through me. It was heat and pressure and something else I wasn't ready to name. I think we're both getting a little too good at pretending, he said, voice low, too close to my ear. I didn't flinch. I couldn't even swallow. His hand didn't move. Neither did I. My skin burned under his touch. My heart pounded in my throat. I could have shoved him away. I should have. But I didn't. And maybe I didn't want to. I'm not pretending. I lied. He let out a soft laugh. No mockery this time. Just something quieter. Then look me in the eyes and say you don't want this. I turned toward him slowly, breath caught somewhere between anger and desire. Our faces were inches apart. His eyes were darker than usual, like he was trying to hold something back too. But I didn't say it, because it wouldn't have been true. He nodded once, like he already knew, and stepped back. The loss of his touch was like a slap, cold and immediate. Thought so, he whispered and disappeared into his room. And I was left standing there, my hands shaking, heart screaming, and pride crumbling into dust. Whatever this is, it's not just tension anymore. It's need. It's dangerous. And it's only getting worse. I don't know what changed. Maybe it was that night we ended up sitting on the floor of the living room, both too exhausted to keep up the bickering. Something about the way he talked about his childhood, about how lonely it was being the golden boy everyone expected too much from. His voice had cracked for just a second, and I listened, really listened. For once, I didn't want to argue or deflect. I just wanted to understand him. Or maybe it was the way his laugh sounded, low and unguarded, when I told him about the time I tried to bleach my hair in high school and turned it bright orange. He laughed until he had to wipe his eyes, and then he looked at me like I was someone he hadn't noticed before, like I was someone he wanted to know. Or maybe it was just the way his leg brushed mine under the coffee table, and I didn't move it. I should have. I didn't. The tension wasn't gone. It had just shifted into something else, something that buzzed in the quiet between our sentences, that thrummed in every glance, every silence, every breath. We stayed up too late, talked too long, until the lights felt too bright and the air too warm. I stood to leave, and he followed me. We didn't say a word. In my doorway, he stopped. Just stood there, his eyes locked on mine, searching. His chest rose and fell slowly, like he was weighing every possibility. I should have closed the door. I should have turned away. But I didn't. I couldn't. And then it happened. I don't remember making the decision. I don't remember moving. One second we were staring, the next I was kissing him. No warning. No hesitation. My hands fisted the front of his shirt, dragging him closer like I needed to prove something. Like I needed to feel something real. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't some perfect cinematic moment. It was raw, desperate. His lips met mine like he'd been waiting for it just as long. It was fire and fury and confusion. Weeks, months of tension exploding in a single moment. Every insult we'd thrown, every heated glare, every breathless stare, it all led to this. And when he kissed me back, when he pushed me against the wall with a force that made my heart stutter, I knew I was done for. I didn't want to push him away. I didn't want to pretend anymore. This wasn't about hate. It never had been. When we finally pulled apart, our foreheads pressed together, breathing hard, he whispered, "So, we're not pretending anymore." I shook my head, barely able to speak. No, I whispered. Not anymore. And for the first time since he walked back into my life, I felt something dangerously close to peace. But peace I knew wouldn't last. Not with us. It's strange how quickly things can change. One minute, someone's the person you resent most in the world. The next, they're the one you can't stop thinking about. The one whose touch lingers on your skin long after they've gone. Whose voice softens the edges of your roughest days. Gideon wasn't just my roommate anymore. He was mine, and I was his. We didn't jump into labels or declarations. It wasn't like that. But there was a quiet understanding between us after that night. A softness in the way he handed me my coffee in the morning. A tenderness in the way he'd brush my hand under the dinner table. He still teased me, still pushed my buttons like it was his life's mission. But now, there was something else behind it. Something safe. Something warm. Love didn't come all at once. It came slowly, in stolen glances across the room, in late-night talks on the couch, in shared music and tangled limbs and whispered laughter when the world was asleep. It came in his quiet apologies for the past and my willingness to forgive. It came in the way I stopped guarding my heart every time he looked at me like I meant something. One rainy Sunday, I found him sitting by the window, sketching aimlessly in that old notebook he pretended he didn't care about. His hair was messy. He was wearing my hoodie. And when he looked up at me, he smiled. Not that cocky smirk he used to wear like armor, but a soft, sleepy smile meant only for me. That's when it hit me. I loved him, and not in the terrifying, out-of-control way I used to fear. It was calm, certain, a steady pulse beneath my skin. I walked over, sat beside him, and took the pencil from his fingers. He raised an eyebrow, amused. I didn't say anything. I just leaned in and kissed him, slow and sure, the kind of kiss that didn't need words. When I pulled away, he looked at me like he already knew. "I've been waiting for you to say it," he murmured. "I didn't need to," I said. "You already felt it." He nodded. "Yeah, but hearing it wouldn't hurt." I smiled, pressed my forehead to his. "I love you, Gideon." He closed his eyes like the words grounded him, like they were exactly what he needed. "I love you too, Kaysen," he whispered, "even when you hog the blankets." I laughed, really laughed, and he pulled me into his arms, holding me like he never wanted to let go. And maybe he wouldn't. We were never supposed to be this. Not after everything. But somehow, against all odds, we'd become something real. Something messy and beautiful in ours. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. Home. With him.